This is Barney. He's been sitting on this couch all morning and looking out these windows behind me, um, fussing and fussing his fussy little whine because he wants to get outside in the sunshine. And maybe that's the way you're feeling right now, too. Barney, we can't let him out by himself right now because he found himself some other doggy buddies that are about a mile and a half or so away by the back roads, quad trails through the forest, but I don't know how to get there that way. He followed the folks home the other day, and 3 days ago, he made it back there all by himself, and it's 2.5 miles by truck to get there, and I can't take the quad out I can't take the car out today because of all the icy snow on the ground. So Barney has to stay with me, but we've already been on a quad run. But there's probably a lot of you guys that are wanting to get out and have fun in the sun and go see your friends. And I know there's a lot of you that wish you could stay home instead of having to go to work like the first responders are. So, and I know there's some of you that are having a really hard time now. Maybe you were already going through a circumstance before we all had to change gears with this pandemic. And I know all the upset from the pandemic has made what you needed to do a lot harder. And so it's at times when we have circumstances like this, the tough times, what do we turn to? And my favorite promise from God is found in my favorite chapter in the whole Bible, God's cheerleading chapter, Romans 8. And the promise, is in verse 28. It says, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose." And when we're in the midst of these circumstances, it's like, Lord, how can you turn this into good? I don't see any way you can. But when I've been in those circumstances and I look back on it, I can say it was the worst of times, but it was the best of times. Because in one of those circumstances, God just came down to me. It really manifested to me and showed me how much he loved me. He even rocked me like a daddy rocking a child. And he grew me up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's what I've seen in others that go through difficult circumstances. When they run to God instead of away from him, they grow and they can look back on it and say, yes, that was the worst of times, but it was the best of times. So what are the conditions for God to be able to weave these things into good things? Well, the first is he weaves all things together for good for those who love him. So loving him. And the second thing is to those who are called according to his purpose. And I used to think that said purposes, plural, but it doesn't. It says purpose. God has one primary purpose. And we find out what that is in the next verse. To conform us to the image of his Son. To make us like his Son. He wants us to be sons and daughters like his Son, Jesus Christ. And that it's so magnificent. There's so much peace, there's so much joy, there's so much comfort in being conformed to the image of Christ, so that I think like Christ, I speak like Christ, I act like Christ. And so this day, I wish you blessings. I wish you to see what heaven's doing in your life in these difficult circumstances. And I pray that you all get out in the sun and have some fun today. God bless you. And if you need prayer, please messenger me. I'd love to pray for you. If you would like for me to pray with you, which is even more powerful, messenger me your phone number and we'll get together. God bless you. Bye-bye.